Hello everyone, welcome back to the Dainty Seamstress. This week I will not be doing an how-to Tuesday tutorial. We'll be going over some basic sewing supplies that you can have when you're first starting out sewing. My arm is broken due to me roller skating and falling backwards, so I can't really sew, but I'm going to practice and see if I can get my skills steady with just this one hand that I'm working with. Okay, so to begin, let's talk about just some measuring tools. So the first thing you're gonna want to have is a measuring tape, fiberglass measuring tape. This one is, I believe, is 60 inches on this measuring tape. Great for measuring yourself, your fabric widths, measuring your clients, so that way you'll be able to have their measurements to make patterns, and whatever you're doing for your project, you want to have a measuring tape. You're also going to want to have a ruler to measure with. This one, I purchased it from Fiskars. It's from Amazon, and it's 18 inches by 3 inches. It's good for doing some I want to say basic truing. This isn't the exact rule that you will use to true patterns when you're pattern making, but if you're just starting out, this will work perfectly fine. And it's see-through, so that helps you to be able to see whatever you're trying to trace or mark. The next thing, let's go over things to hold your needles and your pins. So I have two different types of things that I'll use. I have like my basic pin cushion. This is one I made. It's pretty cute, I think, but it's a just regular pin cushion. You can stick it in and hold your needles and your pins in here. This is the one that you'll find at the store, which is common, and you can get this anywhere. Honestly, I have found out that if you're just starting out sewing supplies can be a little pricey. Go to your local dollar store. They have packs and little kits that you can just purchase of buttons, threads, cutting tools, scissors, all the things that you would need to start off. You can collect some things from there for $1.99, and have a kit for under 20 bucks. So you can find this at your local dollar store, Walmart, craft store. This is another version of that pin cushion that I had, but this is a little bit bigger. It's for quilters, because sometimes quilters have to use pins that are larger. Like, let me see if I can find one. Kind of like this one. It's a kind of a large needle, so you stick that in there. And then it also has this emery. Can't remember what this is called. I'm gonna call it a needle sharpener, because that's what it's for. It's for like when your pins and needles get dull, you can just like poke at it like this. It has like sand and emery stuff in it to sharpen your needles. And the next thing I have is this magnet pin holder, and this is great for holding your pins and needles. You know what else is good for? When you drop needles and pins on the floor, like after your sewing projects, you're done, you want to be careful. If you have one of these, you can like just scan it across the floor like that, and it'll pick up the needles or let you know where the needles are. You can pick it up, so that way you don't step on them and hurt your feet. I've learned this from experience. This is great to have. You can get this also at like Joann's or Amazon. The next thing I can go over with you is just basic sewing needles for hand sewing. You can pick these up also at Walmart, the craft stores, Amazon. You can even find these sometimes at your local like CVS or Walgreens. 45 different types of needles. Let's see, it has betweens, chenille, darner needles, embroidery needles, sharps, and tapestry. So if you can find this one, you're gonna have all the needles that you need if you want to do embroidery, tapestry, regular hand sewing. It's by Singer. It's a good brand. Next, you're going to want to have a seam ripper. Now, this is the seam ripper that came with my sewing machine. I have another one that's a larger one, but I can't locate it at the moment. So I'll show you this one. And this is also used to like dust your machine. Certain little parts of your machine you want to, like maybe where the bobbin is and stuff. But it has 2 points that you can use. I like using the shorter end sometimes, so I'm not like stabbing holes in my fabric with this one. But you just want to be careful and make sure that you're cutting the actual thread and not your material. The next item is going to be the needle threader. Now, this is for people who may probably have a hard time seeing the hole and getting the needle through. This will help you. I'll show you how to use this in another video, but this is very helpful. Sometimes you have needles and the eyes of the needle are just too little for you to see how to get the whole piece of thread in there. So this will be good for you. And this comes in the basic kits that you can find at your dollar store or just anywhere really. They'll have this little guy in there. And to protect your fingers, a thimble. To protect your fingers while you're hand sewing. Sometimes you're gonna prick your fingers if you're not careful. Now this one is a basic one. Just if I can get it off and I can show you. It's just a regular metal thimble. And I found this little cap at the thrift store. It's like hand painted. It's really cute. Ceramic. But you just want to have something like that. I don't use this all the time, but I would suggest getting it to try out. Next, let's go into some marking tools that you'll use. Now, I have this Mark Be Gone marker. It has a purple air and water soluble ink side and a also water soluble ink side. So the purple one, when you mark a line or a marking, it'll just disappear. If you take a little water on a little towel and you rub it just a little bit, it'll come off. If you steam your item, your garment, it'll come off with that, or even like in the wash. But this is just that. I also have, I always have a pencil on hand. Sometimes I'll mark with a pencil if it's, you know, like a, what's it called? If I'm just doing a mock-up on like muslin or something, I'll mark with this, or a pen. But I wouldn't suggest using a pen for your fashion fabric, for your actual garment. You want to use this only on the mock-up. And then also you can use this to write down measurements and little notes that you have. Something else that you can get, but is not absolutely necessary in the beginning, but this is just what I have on hand. This is a stiletto tracing wheel, and you use this to mark seams. You can mark darts. It's very, very sharp, so you want to be careful with this guy. I and my mother unfortunately have stepped on this, and you know it wasn't pleasant. It was horrible. So you can get this. I live in Houston, Texas, by the way, so we go to our local Southwest sewing machines on the south side of Houston, and they have a lot of different things that you can use. It's family-owned business, and you can get all of your sewing supplies from there. The next thing, let's see. Let's go over some cutting tools. So the first thing I'm going to show you is just these small little scissors for like cutting those finishing threads on your fabric at the end when you want to just go through and clean up your garment. You're going to cut those little threads and cut those little pieces of material. And then I have my regular shears that I use. These are a bit more expensive than regular shears. This is just what I'm using right now, but you can definitely use regular scissors if you choose. But I would suggest getting you some Fiskars or some Singer shears that are actually for fabric. These are the Gingers, stainless steel they're pretty heavy. And you also want to have regular scissors for cutting fabrics. I'm sorry. You want to have regular scissors for cutting paper. Cutting your oat tag paper, your tracing paper, whatever paper. You want to have paper scissors, and never use your fabric shears for paper or anything else for that matter. So have your fabric shears and have paper scissors. The next cutting tool that you can get is pinking shears. Pinking shears are great if you want to use them for like a decorative edging on your fabric, or mainly they're used for like cutting around curves, maybe necklines, any curve you want to cut this with. Well, you want to you want to cut that piece of pattern or cut that piece of garment with the pinking shears. You'll be able to have less bulk on your item when you're done. Let's see, what else do we have? Oh yes, this thing right here. This is a turning tool. This is used when you're wanting to like string, drawstring in maybe pajama pants or in a little pouch, or what else can you use this for? When you're turning maybe a strap for a dress or something, you want to use this. It has a little hook on the end. Sometimes I like to use this when I'm making doll clothes. I'll use it to string the elastic through because it's so tiny and it's easily can hook on there and I can just pull it through. So that's what you would use this for. Let's see, is there anything else that I'm missing? Oh yes. So I did miss this with the marking tools. You want to have tailor's chalk. Now this is a tailor's chalk that comes in the package you can get from the craft store and probably also from Walmart. If your Walmart has a fabric section, 9 times out of 10 they're gonna have chalk. You can also use regular chalk. Just make sure you have a towel or something nearby and you can kind of like just dust off the chalk after you're done. And that's going to be all for today. Now most of these items I'm going to list below, so that way if you don't have them you can like look them up and find them. But I will just suggest that you check your local dollar stores, check your Walgreens, your Walmart. It's going to be less expensive for you to get your things at maybe Walmart and this dollar store, I'm telling you, before you make a decision to keep sewing. Hopefully you do, because it's a great skill to have. It's very useful. Also, once you get, you know, to the point where you want to upgrade and you want to get a fancier pair of scissors or a fancier this or that, you know, you'll already know how to use whatever it is, and you will most likely you know, be appreciative of the art of sewing. Okay, so that's all that I have for you today, and if I left anything out, please feel free to leave it down in the comments. And if you have any suggestions for tools that you would like to see me review, or you want to know how to use them and you would like to see me do a video on that, please let me know in the comments. Thank you guys for tuning in this Tuesday for this video. I will see you next time. Goodbye.